journey is a struggle, to whether you want to go back or not. A lot of guilt, and pain. But then you also feel a peace within you. You have the pain of realizing, the picture in your head that was a fantasy, that love that you always wanted was a fantasy, and that the parents you always wanted was a fantasy the whole time. And so it's a death of that fantasy. So it's a really it's a struggle of, like, oh, can I get one more chance? Maybe this time my parents will love me. Maybe this time. And that's why there are some victim survivors that are 70 and just breaking that bond with their abusive parent, because they love them so much. And then there's such a stigma too, when it comes to abusive parents, because it's like you should love your parents no matter what. And when people try to break those toxic relationships, no matter if they're family, there's going to be family, friends, or just, people in the community that say, oh, you should always love your parents. You should never do that. They brought you into this world. They're nothing but nice to you. Maybe it's a misunderstanding. You have to stick to your heart, to your goals, and to your healing, and commit to your healing. They don't personally know what you've gone through, so you have to push through. And that's another struggle, a huge struggle of healing, because people feel as if you hate your parents, when in fact you love them so much that you're willing to destroy yourself in the midst of receiving their love that won't come to you. So what I'm saying is, continuously bring in the presence of God. Have a great peace around you. Go to therapy. Break down those demons of your past, so you're not even bringing it into the future. Even if you don't decide to have children, just in your relationships, your friendships, you're not bringing that toxic, abusive spirit or codependent spirit in which people feel as if they can take advantage of you. Because me personally, as an adult, a lot of people took advantage of me because I was so willing to say yes to people, because I wanted them to not be mad at me, because I associated them being mad with me with pain of my past and how it hurt so much when I said no in the past to my parents and things like that. And that goes into my relationship. So I was doing things I didn't want to do as an adult because of that programming of you have to serve others and reject yourself and not love yourself. And then you could end up getting taken advantage of. And you will only have parasitic relationships because you haven't healed. So that's very important as well. Because we have to learn as survivors how to create boundaries, which is so hard for us because we're used to people invading our boundaries, and we're used to not having a voice. So we take a lot of stuff as adults. We just take it because we're not used to speaking up for ourselves. We barely know who we are. Our anxiety is through the roof. There's just a lot of pain going on. So we just going through the motions. Let me just do what somebody says. No matter how much you don't want to do it, you just do it because of that fear that has been with you. This is a child that's following you to an adult. Remember, again, to love yourself and get the therapy that you need. Just like this story here. We don't want to become an abuser because we haven't learned healthy behaviors. Because, say for example, you're like, oh no, I'm never going to hit my kids or what have you. You survive, you're not going to hit your kids. But what you still took from that childhood trauma is that emotional and psychological abuse. So you do that to your child and you think you're doing better because you're not hitting your child. I'm doing better. I'm not going to hit my child, but you say demeaning words to them and things like that. You won't get to the bottom of all the pain and unhealthy behaviors till you sit down and examine everything that was done to you so you can break down negative behaviors, totally destroy them, and uplift and practice healthy behaviors and boundaries so you can move forward in a successful life. Well, you guys, I appreciate you for tuning in to episode 2, Generational Curse. Just a commentary on the trials of Gabriel Fernandez. Remember, make the choice to heal so that you all can live, you and your children. Do not refuse to heal so that it negatively affects those around you and especially your children. Remember that. Refusing to heal is a very selfish thing to do. Confront your trauma. Heal from your trauma. Release from your trauma. Because again, you don't want to be codependent and have another abuser with a different face. You're just cycling. Different abusers. You're not being abusive to your child. However, they're seeing the abuse that's occurring between you and your mate because why you haven't healed. And then that affects your child. You create a crazy dynamic within the child's head and they're programmed that abuse is love, love is abuse. This is what abuse is. So when someone's actually nice and loving towards them, they kind of reject it because they're like, what's going on? And when somebody's horrible to them, ignoring them, silent treatment, physically abusive, demeaning them, they're like, oh yes, this person loves me. This person really loves me. Then you have a skewed generation. So, again, heal. Jesus loves you. I love you. Love yourself. Move forward with your healing.
Thanks for joining us this week on Abuse Exposed. Make sure to subscribe to our show in Apple Podcasts and other social media platforms at Abuse Exposed so you never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on Apple Podcasts. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. Thanks for being a part of the community.